Welcome back to the channel, guys. So we have started solving the questions for how much topics we have studied. Now let's start with first question. We will solve lead code 20, that is valid parenthesis. In this question, we are given a string in which there are brackets. They are opening and closing both brackets we have. There can be opening brackets followed by closing brackets, or in the middle there can be other brackets too. For example, here we have opening and closing bracket, here we have opening and closing, but here we have opening, another opening, then closing the first one, and then later closing the another one. So in this case, what we have to do, if our opening bracket has a corresponding closing bracket, every opening bracket has a corresponding closing bracket, then we have to return true, and if it does not, then we have to return false. Now here in this example, you see, first we have round bracket, then we have square bracket, but this square bracket does not have a corresponding closing bracket, but instead there is a closing bracket for round bracket. So in this case, the answer will be false. Here you can see there is a curly bracket. After that there is a round bracket, and that round bracket has corresponding closing bracket, and also curly bracket also has corresponding closing brackets. So this will give us true. Now this will give us false, because every bracket has corresponding closing bracket, but here last this one opening bracket is remaining, and this will give us false. So how do we solve this question? So for this question, we have to use a stack. So in stack, what we can check is just the previous element of the running element, and we can just ensure means I'll just show you one implementation, then you can understand. Let's say we have a stack, and we will take this example. Now there can be two cases. Once the case will be, there can be opening bracket, and other case is that there will be a closing bracket. Now if there is a closing bracket, so we will check if stack is empty, means this is an empty stack, and if there comes a closing bracket, so now you see that if there is a closing bracket and it does not have previous corresponding opening bracket, so at the end of the stack this one bracket will always be there. So if there is a closing bracket at the start of the string, then it will always give us false answer. So this will be false. Now we will see what if case 1 is there. Like in this case you can see it is case 1. First is a opening bracket for round. So yeah, here we have opening bracket. Now second is we have opening bracket for square, so we will put that. Now next is closing bracket for round. If the case is closing bracket and the stack is not empty, then we have three cases. The closing bracket can be round, square, or curly. So what here it is curly, round case. So if closing bracket is round, then there are two cases possible. The top of the stack is opening bracket for round, or it is not. If it is, now in this case it is not, the top of the stack is opening bracket for square bracket, so it is this case. Now you know that this, if we put a closing bracket for round bracket here, then it will always remain, and the stack will never be empty. So uh, because we cannot pop, it does not have a corresponding opening bracket, so in that case we will always get a false. Now similarly, let's check this for this one. Okay, so first is angular opening, then is round opening. Now we can see that for closing of round bracket, we have corresponding opening of round bracket at the top. So if the next character is closing round bracket and top of the stack is opening round bracket, so we just pop the top, so it will be like this. And after that we can see next is closing curly bracket. So for that we have corresponding opening curly bracket at the top of the stack, so we will pop this. So when a sequence comes like this which has corresponding opening and closing brackets, then the at the end the stack will be empty. And if stack is empty at the last, then we will get true. At the end we will just check if the stack is empty, and we will return true. Now I'll just show you the code. Okay, so now we will write the code. You can also have a look at the question. We have a string. Let's say we have this string. You can see that this round bracket has corresponding closing bracket. This square bracket has corresponding closing bracket as well, and this curly bracket also has a corresponding closing bracket. So this will give us true. Now here this round bracket does not have corresponding closing bracket, and this square bracket does not have corresponding opening bracket, so it will give us false. So as we have discussed, first we will declare a stack. Let's say stack of characters, and we will name it check because it is used for checking. After that we'll just start iterating the characters of the string. We will use here a ranged base loop. Now we will access character one by one. So there can be two cases. The first case being it is a opening bracket. So first we will check that case. If it is a opening bracket, now if it's a opening bracket, so we will just push it in the stack. So check dot push a. Now the other case can be it is a closing bracket. Now, if it is a closing bracket, there are two cases. We have to check if stack is empty or not. So if stack is empty, then we will return false, because that particular closing bracket will remain till the end of the iteration. So it will not have a corresponding opening bracket, and it will never get cancelled out. Now, if the stack is not empty, then we will just check if we'll try to implement in this one only. So first we'll check that it is closing round bracket and sorry, top of the stack is opening round bracket. This can be our first case. Second case will be, just copy this. So second case will be for, let's say, curly bracket. And third case we will take for square bracket. Now in this case, we know that corresponding opening and closing bracket is there. So we will just pop the top. And if that's not the case, which means again there is a one closing bracket that will remain till the end of the stack, and it will not get cancelled out, so it will give us false again. So if everything goes correctly, we'll just check if stack is empty at last. And if it is empty, we'll just return true, else we'll return false. So we'll run this code first. Okay, it is passing all the test cases. Just submit it. There you go. So this was the solution for the valid parenthesis question. I'll just add the link to the solution also in the description. So that is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.